Today I'm out exploring the islands of Goa to figure out the traditional ways of Goan fishing, how the locals do it. Let's see if we are lucky today, and let me show you some ways of how to do it. Fishing is the most important source of living in any coastal town, and Goa is no exception. Wherever you go, a walk on the beach, or in a shack, or a restaurant, fishermen and fishes are hard to miss. No wonder fishing contributes almost 20% of the total agriculture GDP of Goa. But ever wondered how does it get on your plate? To find the answer, I visited two beautiful islands of Goa. Organized by Soul.travelling, the offbeat travel curation company of Goa, I first visited Divar Island, where expert fisherman Amrit Volvoikar came to pick me up in his boat, and we went deep in the river to find our catch of the day. First thing that amazed me were the gorgeous mangroves which Goa is abundant with. 13 out of 16 mangroves of Goa are found on this island itself. They host hundreds and thousands of bats, uncountable species of birds, floating spiders, and one more deadly surprise which I'll share later. Some species of mangrove stems that you see floating in the water start growing into a tree wherever they hit the ground or find a base. Real survivors, aren't they? Amrit reads the water tide, which is the most important aspect of fishing, and it changes every 30 minutes. He got down in the water at a shallow point to spread out the gill net along the flow of the water, and I followed him in the water to capture him on the camera. He ruffled up the water violently to distract the fish towards the net. When he pulled the net back, the catch of the day came along with it, its gills stuck in the net. That's why it's called gill net fishing. Now let me tell you about our deadly friend. When we got back in the boat looking for a spot to cast the net for round net cast fishing or kathali, I saw a movement near the mangroves, and there was a huge, almost 12-foot crocodile that jumped into the water. The same water I was in just few minutes ago. On asking Amrut about the crocodiles, what he told me was a little reassuring, but not reassuring enough to get back in the water again.
So here the crocodiles are size up to 14 to 15 feet, weighing about 300 to 400 kgs. So such big crocodiles are seen around this place, but till today there's not a single human casualty by crocodiles.
Watching the net being cast and spread in water is a beautiful sight and definitely needs a lot of strength and expertise. Stake fishing or khutani is when the nets are tied to a pole and buried in the ground, and the fish is harvested when the tide gets low. To catch the crabs, a metal basket or jhari is used with chicken legs as a bait to attract the crabs. And the crabs that can eat chicken legs, you can imagine what their size would be. But the most amazing and traditional way of catching fish that I saw is Manos, which is done using sluice gates either at night or before dawn. I visited the historical Chorao island to see this fishing method. Our friends told me that they would cast the net around 7 when the tide would change. I waited patiently, and exactly around the predicted time, the water actually started flowing in the opposite direction. Nets were cast along the sluice gates by few men, and a strong bulb was lit on the other side to attract the fish. As the flow of the water increased, the gates were opened and the fish flowed right into the long cast nets, and you have your catch of the day or night. Amritji has been catching fish for 50 years and can tell what kind of fish is stuck in the net without looking, just by listening to the flapping of water. He shares with me what it takes to be a fisherman and how to catch fish sustainably.
One thing is that people are throwing everything in the waters that distract the fish in the river. So people have to stop that also. And another thing, you have to leave back, if by chance you have caught the small fishes, you have to leave back into the water so that they grow and they produce more fishes. So the next time you are in Goa, try to explore one of these beautiful traditional fishing methods. But if you are a vegetarian, just come here to explore these beautiful islands. But beware of the crocodiles. I'll see you in my next story. Khushiyan always. To find out the beautiful traditional ways
of fishing in Goa. थोड़ा mix हो गया, एक बार और लेना पड़ेगा. So the next time you are in Goa, make sure to